Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and in this video, I'm going to dive into what a C-Corp is, how it works, and whether it might be the right business structure for you. If you've been exploring business structures, you might have came across terms like LLC, S-Corp, and C-Corp. And whilst LLCs and S-Corps are popular options for many entrepreneurs, C-Corps are often the preferred choice for larger companies or businesses planning to go public. In this video, I will cover exactly what a C-Corp is and how it operates, the pros and cons of choosing a C-Corp, when a C-Corp might be the best option for your business, and how to go about forming a C-Corp. I will also introduce you to my recommended business formation service that handles the entire process of forming a C-Corp and helps to ensure that you stay compliant every step of the way. As always, if you do decide to use my recommended service, I may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you, and I've thoroughly researched all of the options and I trust this service to provide top-notch support. So jumping right in, what actually is a C-Corp? A C-Corp, short for C Corporation, is a legal entity that is separate from its owners. So this means that the company itself is responsible for its own legal and tax obligations. A C-Corp is a recognized structure by the IRS, and this is what you think of when you hear about traditional corporations. C-Corps are often favored by businesses that plan to raise capital, whether this is through venture capital or by issuing public stock. The reason for this is because C-Corps allow businesses to issue multiple classes of stock, which of course can help attract investors. In terms of how a C-Corp works as an independent legal entity that has its own rights and responsibilities separate from its shareholders. The owners of a C-Corp are called shareholders, and the company is managed by a board of directors. This board is going to make the major decisions and it's going to oversee the company's overall strategy, whilst officers such as CEOs and CFOs are going to handle day-to-day operations. Here are some key points about how a C-Corp operates. So ownership is through shares, where owners hold stock in the company and each share represents an ownership stake. Of course, a C-Corp also has limited liability, so the shareholders are not personally responsible for the corporation's debts or liabilities. A C-Corp is going to have a board of directors, and the board is going to oversee the company's activities, with shareholders voting to elect them. And profits are typically distributed to shareholders as dividends, and dividends are taxed separately from the corporation's income. Moving over to the pros and cons of a C-Corp. So for the pros, of course, we have limited liability, meaning the shareholders' personal assets are protected from the company's debts and lawsuits. C-Corps also have the ability to raise capital because they can issue multiple classes of stock, and they can raise money through investors or public offerings. As a C-Corp, you can also deduct certain business expenses like salaries, employee benefits, and interest on business loans, so there are quite a few tax deductions that you can get with a C-Corp. Perpetual existence is another big one, so a C-Corp can continue to operate even if the shareholders or officers change. And finally, C-Corps are very attractive to venture capitalists and investors because of their ability to issue stock and offer an exit strategy. Now onto the cons. Some of the biggest cons are going to be double taxation. So C-Corps are subject to corporate income tax on their profits, and shareholders are taxed again when they receive dividends. C-Corps are also a pretty complex structure. They are much more complex to set up and maintain compared to something like an LLC or an S-Corp. You're also going to have a lot more regulation with a C-Corp, and this is going to include things like regular meetings, voting, and formal record keeping. The final con is going to be the cost, because the cost of forming and maintaining a C-Corp is typically higher than that of an LLC or an S-Corp. So if at this point a C-Corp maybe doesn't seem like the best option for you because you don't plan on raising capital, then no worries. You can check out one of my other videos where I go over the differences between LLCs, S-Corps, and C-Corps to explore these options and see if one of those is a better fit for your business. So when is a C-Corp the right choice for you? Here are a few scenarios where a C-Corp might be a good fit. Firstly, if you plan to go public or attract venture capitalists, Also, if you want to offer stock options to employees, if you want to have a larger business and you need the ability to raise capital or expand, and also if you're okay with the higher administrative burden and can afford the extra costs associated with a C-Corp. Next, we will take a look at how to actually form a C-Corp, because forming a C-Corp involves several different steps. The first of this is choosing a business name. You will then want to file the articles of incorporation with your state. Step number 3 is going to be appointing a board of directors. You will then need to issue shares of stock to the founders. You will need to obtain an EIN or an employer identification number from the IRS. You will need to register for state taxes, and you will also need to comply with state requirements such as annual reports. So there is quite a few steps that go into forming a C-Corp, and to do this I recommend using a company formation service to handle all of this for you. The company formation service that I recommend is called Bizee, and the reason for this is because they include all of your filing. They give you compliance alerts to make sure you are compliant and legal. They also offer a free registered agent service for the first year, and they offer unlimited phone and email support. So if you have any legal or taxation questions later down the line, you can just give them a call. So if you are ready to make this official and form your C-Corp, let's jump right into my computer and I will show you how to do this with Bizee. To form your C-Corp with Bizee, click on the top link down in the description, and that is going to take you over to this page. So all we are going to do from here is click on Form Your LLC, this big orange button. And then from here in the entity type, we are of course going to select C Corporation right here. And then in the state section, you select the state that you want to form your C Corp in. So as an example, let's just go down here and I'm going to select New York. And in here, we can see the price that Bizee are going to charge. This is the big price at the top. And underneath, we can see the mandatory state filing fee. Now, depending on your state, the state filing fee is going to change. If we go to New Mexico, you can see that is a little bit cheaper. Oregon is even cheaper still, but the Bizee packages are going to remain the same price. From these packages, the one that I recommend going for is the standard package, because this includes pretty much everything that you need from Bizee. As you can see, they will prepare and file the articles of organization. You get the free 1-year registered agent service. They will also set up our EIN business tax number for us. And the two most important things are going to be the lifetime compliance alerts and the unlimited phone and email support. So we can select the standard plan right here and click on Get Started. And on this next screen, we can now choose the corporation name. So I'm going to call this Holden North. And we can see if this company name is available because we have this check mark right here. As we are setting up a C-Corp, we also want to go down and enter in the business purpose. This doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a brief description of what your business is and what your business does. On this next page, we can then choose if we want to pay an extra $50 to get this expedited filing time. So if we pay this extra $50, we can set up the business in 1 day, as opposed to 3 weeks if we don't want to pay this. So with this, it really just depends how quickly you want your business formed and set up. So we can select this if you want to, and then click on Next. In here, you want to enter in your contact information as the person who is setting up this business. And once that is entered in, on this next page, we can then add some company address information. Once that is entered, Bizee are then going to try to upsell us with this 25 contract library and also a business phone number. So once again, this is completely optional. This is absolutely not necessary. So if you do want this, we can click on Get the Limited Time Offer. But for now, I'm just going to say no thanks. On this page, this is where we can now set up the directors and owners of the company. So we can select how many directors we are going to have. For this, I'm just going to say this is just me. And then we can autofill this information. Go down and add in all of the officer information. So in this example, this is all just going to be me. So we can go and select that in. And then in here, we can now choose how many shares we want to authorize. And we can add a value per share. So we can go in here and just say 1 shareholder, as this is me. Then I can select myself. And I'm going to give myself all 1,500 shares. In this area, this is now where Bizee are going to offer us the free registered agent for 1 year. Now, a registered agent is a person or company who is responsible for the legal documents of your business. And this is highly recommended to go through with Bizee, as it's one less thing you have to worry about. So we can go ahead and select Bizee right here. And this is now where we are going to apply for our EIN or employer identification number. This is essentially the social security number of your business, and this is necessary to file for taxes and open a bank account. So in here, I can just set this up in my own name, and we can choose the identification number that we will use to obtain this EIN. I recommend going with a social security number because with an ITIN, this takes a lot longer to get approved. As you can see, this takes up to 12 weeks. So it's a much better idea to go with a social security number. We then just want to go down and we can fill this in right here and click on next. Bizee will then ask if we want to use their banking partners to set up our banking with. Once again, this is not necessary. It does make things a little bit easier when everything is in one place. But if you already have your own business bank set up or you know the companies you want to go with, we can just say, ask me later. Bizee also offers us a free tax consultation call. So this is always a good idea to take. There's no strings attached with this. This is completely free. So we can opt into this and then click on next. We can then see in here, they've identified 2 licenses that we need based on my location in Oregon and also from what I entered with the type of business. So we can either figure out what these are ourselves and apply that way, or we can get Bizee to mail the applications. From here, we will then see an order summary. So you just want to go down and carefully read through this and make sure everything is set up correctly. We can then click on next. And on this final page, we just enter in the card details that we would like to use, agree to this policy, and then we can click complete and pay. So that is C-Corp explained, as well as how you can form your C-Corp with Bizee. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.